I am Terry Jones Davenport, and I'm President and CEO of Justice Academy USA.
Well, Lamar and I were married in 1987, and we have two sons. Alexander is now 24, and Miles is 19. They were really, really good kids.
We're not a large organization. We're a small grassroots organization with a lot of power and a lot of promise.
Well, at some point, we started to notice that they were picking up habits, and they would come home. You know, we were getting more calls from the schools about behavior and things like that, and more visits to the school to talk to teachers and principals, and at some point, law enforcement. And that is when it really started to hit us that they may be on a dangerous path. It was just very, very challenging. I can't even put into words how challenging it was as a parent to see your child on a path where you can see what the outcome will ultimately be for them, but they can't see it yet. And you're trying to maneuver for them. You're trying to move obstacles out of their way in order to save them for what you see as a negative outcome. We tried counseling, individual family counseling, mentors for school, tutors, everything. Shipping one of them off to live with another relative, sending one to a private boarding school, because we thought maybe he needed more discipline. I think personally a lot of it was peer pressure. I think a lot of it had to do with peers. I think a lot of it has to do with how the world has evolved and changed from where it was when my husband and I were growing up. It's a completely different world. We had different worries, when we were attending Somerville High or Stall High.
Is to go out into the community on a national basis and find best practices that we can bring back to South Carolina and to utilize to better South Carolina.
Well, we started Justice Academy based on the experiences of one of my sons. He actually had to be detained at the South Carolina Department of Juvenile Justice up in Columbia. His sentence was for 90 days. But during one of the visits, he was just crestfallen. I could tell that he was hurting and he didn't want to be there. Of course, who does? But he didn't want to be there. And I just felt like as I was looking around this gymnasium in particular and seeing all of these families that look like my family, I thought, why are there so many children here that look like my son, honestly? And I came back, my husband and I came back down the road, and we started talking to each other and asking ourselves, what can we do? I mean, we know what we did in order to avoid this for our son, but it still happened. What about families without access to resources? So we created Justice Academy USA. The mission is to provide information, inspiration, and advocacy to families struggling to save their children. And I can't say how important it is to provide parents who seem to be at the end of their rope with how to raise successful children with as many resources and ideas and tactics and information as possible in order to help them be successful. It really is starting to feel like that it's taking a village model again and bringing people together and sharing the fact that, I know you're going through, let me help you. And parents are very open to that. The need for this is overwhelming.